Let's talk Alien Covenant, the newest movie in the Alien installment to come from Ridley Scott. This movie takes place before the events of 1979's Alien, but after the events of Prometheus, which came out a few years back. Ridley Scott's back at the helm of this project. I guess he haven't really left it because he did Prometheus, so he came back after a while. What can I say about this movie except that it's not great? But it's okay. I did enjoy a lot of the aspects of this movie, and I think where it faltered for me personally in a lot of aspects was the narrative and the story. Does it make sense for where we came from Prometheus? Sure, some of the aspects definitely worked from where we were in Prometheus, but other aspects just felt kind of stupid and it felt rehashed. And I think that's one of my biggest criticisms with this movie was it didn't do anything to enhance the story going forward for the alien lore. You look back on the first Alien movie, it was slow, it was methodical, it was just slow build up leading to something big and beautiful, and it gave us a really nice horror feel. Then you go to Aliens, which is a big action film that's advanced the franchise, did something different. Say what you will about Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, but they changed the format, did something different than what we've seen before, and it worked for whoever liked them. I'm not saying those are terrible movies. They're not terrible. No, there hasn't been a terrible movie in this franchise, but there's been a lot of questionable choices made in them. There's been a lot of questionable choices made. And I do appreciate some of the aspects we did see in Alien 3 and in Alien Resurrection. And even Prometheus. Prometheus asks these big questions, which you know what, I'm okay with. Like, where do humans come from? Who created us? What is creation? What is existence? What are all these things? And I like that they got that. It's a smart idea. It's an interesting concept that I know Ridley Scott really wants to tackle. But this movie, it didn't answer any of the questions left behind from Prometheus. And that can be good and bad. It's good in the aspect that it's allowing itself to be original and fresh because you don't have to see Prometheus to go into this. And I think that's really helped the story going forward because if it was too much on Prometheus, I haven't seen Prometheus in a long time. I don't want to have to go back and watch Prometheus before I went to see this movie. But it also faltered because you want to connect these things together and make it coherent and just interesting for the storyteller. Every aspect of this movie, from the get-go, from the alien, from the deaths, from the lot of the stuff we see, I've seen in other alien movies. And that is a big problem I did have, because say what you will about each of the alien movies, like them or hate them, they were different. They reinvigorated the franchise. Each one, even Prometheus, even Alien 3, even Aliens, they all changed the franchise in some way. This is exactly what we see from modern storytelling now with an already existing property where you can see they know what it's going to be. We see the chest bursting, but it's from the back. We see a xenomorph, but it's not a xenomorph anymore. We see people dying. We see people, just the same stuff we've seen before, just in a different, reinvigorated light that doesn't do anything different for the characters or the story. And I can understand why they did that. You want to get people back in the franchise, but where this one faltered was I didn't care about the characters as much as I did before. That's okay. I understand there's not a lot you can do there because this is modern storytelling and we got to get those big bucks. We got to get people in these seats with all this action. But this just felt like an amalgamation of all these things I've seen before and I didn't care for it that much. You give me something original, you give me the straight up sequel to Prometheus, I'd care more. You did exactly what you did with Aliens 3 and you killed some main characters off screen, which really did affect the story for me going forward. There are definitely a lot of characters I liked in this. Danny McBride I thought did really great. He was a really compelling and interesting character at times. Billy Crudup. I have this thing I do every time I see Billy Crudup in a movie. I just imagine he's the same character that he is in Almost Famous. So that really helps me get into his character more and understand him. But it's just a stupid thing I do. So I just always imagine like, oh yeah, that's him from Almost Famous. Yeah, he can sing, but we don't see him sing. Doesn't matter. But I liked him in this movie, the way he acted and preached. I thought it really worked. And Billy Crudup's a really underrated actor, and I really did appreciate what he did here. The lead actress's name, Catherine Waterston, there was something off about her. And I don't want to sound like I hate her, because she did fine. She was a really interesting character who I did appreciate, and I liked her story for the most part. But I can't help but compare her to Ripley. Ripley. Ripley was this compelling character who was put in these situations she didn't want to be in. She wanted no part of this, and she didn't express her emotions right away. She was culminating them. She was building up to all these different things, and she really held herself strong and tough, even though she was terrified through the whole movie. Catherine did that too, but not to the same effect. I didn't buy any of the things she was doing, and she just felt out of place to me, like she wasn't, not like she was in a different movie, just that she didn't belong in the scenes she was in, whereas Ridley did. I said Ridley again, holy shit. Ripley did. Where Ripley did. Sigourney Weaver. I guess I'm just saying it's a better actress, but that's okay. The weird fucked up Neomorph, the like white guy, looked kind of weird. I'm sure on paper there are some great ideas for the way these characters look, the xenomorphs, but when you adapt that, you gotta realize it's not always gonna translate well, because it kind of looked dumb at times, and I didn't completely buy it. And the same thing, Michael Fassbender playing, David again, and Walter, really interesting concept, didn't care that much for it at times, because they were some of the most predictable points of the story for me, and that's what really faltered. Overall, this just felt like a modern day remake of a great classic. We've seen it with Jurassic World, love or hate Jurassic World. We've seen this with a bunch of stuff. That's what this felt like to me. It didn't get me invested in a story going forward, didn't make me really care about the characters, but there's some really great looking visuals and some really interesting stuff. And just because a movie looks great, doesn't mean it is great. So I'm going to give Alien Covenant a 62%. So let me know what you guys think of Alien Covenant, and what you think of Alien in general, and if you think I should stop saying Ridley, when I mean Ripley, because I am bad at stuff. Alright, I will catch you guys in the next video. Good luck.